Demon Slayer has been very popular in the anime community for quite a while now, hitting people's top 10 lists, getting awards, and getting endless praise. But why? Demon Slayer was made by Koyoharu Gotoge. Hopefully I said that right. The manga of Demon Slayer ran from February 15th, 2016 to May 2020, amassing 105 chapters. So it ended quite recently. And the Demon Slayer anime started April 6th, 2019 and has around 45 episodes. And it's not yet finished. So my experience seeing Demon Slayer was I watched the first season of the anime, and then eventually I read the manga when I got into manga, because I watched the first season of Demon Slayer before I actually started reading manga, and it was one of the first mangas that I read right after Black Clover. The whole story is basically Tanjiro is a normal dude until Michael Jackson he's his way into his life and kills his entire family, and he has to try to figure out how to turn his demon sister back into a human. The main characters in Demon Slayer are pretty easy to summarize. They do fall under pretty common anime tropes, like Tanjiro being the sunshine character that can do no wrong and really has no issues. I've even heard people acquainting Tanjiro to basically a Mary Sue. Zenitsu is a coward and a scaredy cat who can only fight when he's asleep and is attracted to Tanjiro's sister. And Inosuke, who is commonly regarded to be the best out of the trio, even by most people who hate Demon Slayer, so they must have done something right with him. He's a crazy maniac who grew up in the mountains and raised himself, and he basically has no manners, and he's nuts. Nezuko, Tanjiro's sister, who became a demon, is around. She fights and sleeps and looks cute and doesn't speak, which is one of the main issues people hate Demon Slayer bring up, that Nezuko is basically a dog. She basically just sleeps all day, doesn't speak, attacks people who attack her brother, and basically just sits around and looks cute, and people give her head pats. And the Hashiras all have varying degrees of character development, where some I can't even remember the names for. A lot of them I can't remember the names for, but I'm not good with names, so don't take that as an indication that they're all horrible characters that didn't get any character development. I just can't really remember most of them. I mean, it doesn't help that most of their backstories were packed into the last final battle, and so you don't really have any connection to these people at all, because their backstories aren't told until the very last minute, and it all feels very crammed in there, like they're just trying to throw everything at you at once because they didn't have enough time to, and they thought all these backstories but didn't actually pace the story well enough to actually give these characters full personalities and backstories at their own pace, so they just throw it all at you at the last minute and then expect you to care about them all, which I have a hard time caring about characters to begin with. So that obviously did not work for me. But I do think during the Mugen Train movie, which I only saw a little bit because I had started reading the manga at that time, I think that the sound designers really did make Rengoku turning into a donut seem more sad than it really was, because he didn't really have much character development, and they just made him the classic goody two-shoes happy guy, and then expected you to feel bad about him because he's a good guy, even though you don't really know him at all. I definitely would not say Demon Slayer is very creative. It's just a culmination of a bunch of shonen tropes with a new coat of paint. It's fine, it's just good classic shonen fun. If that's what you're into, then yeah. And the animation for Demon Slayer is obviously gorgeous. It's beautiful. I don't really care too much about how something looks. I just care about the story and mostly the characters. Characters drive the story for me, which nothing else really matters to me as long as the characters are good and they have good interactions with each other and they grow and develop. I don't really care. Everything else could be terrible. I'm a very simple person. But yeah, the Rui fight actually made me like stop and stare because it was really well done, and I don't really watch shows because of the animation, so it was just like, oh, happy surprise that it was in there and it looked cool. But as someone who read the manga after season 1, if there's no animation, there's not really anything special about Demon Slayer. It's just like every other shonen drop in the sea, typical shonen. The animation is what makes it stand out. I guess that's why people say that adaptation can make all the difference. Demon Slayer doesn't have no foreshadowing or really any plot twists, and anyone with a basic knowledge of anime tropes and how most stories in anime go down could probably predict the entire story of Demon Slayer without breaking a sweat, because there was no part of Demon Slayer that I was surprised to, and I choose to be extremely oblivious to what's ever happening in the show I watch, because a lot of the times I don't want to think about it, I just want to watch it, especially if it's a show that I'm not all that amazingly invested in. It's just, that's what Demon Slayer is. It's just a show that you turn your brain off to and you watch for the pretty animation and the pretty colors. Demon Slayer don't really have those profound messages or the amazing story. It's just, it's decent. And the world building is pretty much non-existent because I can't really remember any of the locations other than like the main Demon Slayer core place, and that wasn't very explored either. Most of the places that they go to are just backdrops for fight scenes to make the fight scenes look more interactive and pretty, which probably is a good thing because that's one of the only things Demon Slayer really has going for it that sets it apart from the crowd is its animation, which some people might find that more sad than others. I've heard some people talk about Demon Slayer. It's everywhere. It's been everywhere. It's been like the face of anime, which is like crazy to me. I've heard people say that it is absolutely the worst thing that they've ever seen in their life, and people say that it's amazing, and everywhere in between, but I'm someone who will confidently say that Demon Slayer is just meh. It's alright. Watching it, I just wanted something to watch, and it's something you turn your brain off to, like a Saturday morning cartoon. If you're actually looking to try to find the inconsistencies and everything that doesn't make sense, yeah, you're probably going to go crazy. But if you're just watching it for the pretty colors, then it's not really an issue. Overall, if one of the only reasons that you watch an anime is for the animation and the pretty colors and the flashing lights, then Demon Slayer, it would be the perfect show for you. Do not go into it thinking it's gonna be like Fullmetal Alchemist or One Piece, because again, you're going to go insane. My personal opinion is to always go into shows with the lowest expectation possible, so that way even if it's garbage or just a meh, it'll seem better than it actually is and you can actually try to enjoy it. Because I genuinely believe one of the best skills anyone can have is being able to enjoy something for what it is instead of what it could have been. To look past all the flaws and still enjoy it anyway. Those are the type of people I respect the most, that get the joy out of something that 99% of people can't get the joy out of. So overall, while I don't really understand why Demon Slayer got all of the awards it did, and why it's so acclaimed across all the animes as it is, or why people even love it so much, I do definitely see the appeal to the show and why people like it, even though it's not the thing that makes an anime for me. But I do respect what it's done for anime as a medium by bringing it to the big screen, by, releasing movies in theaters, making it more mainstream and bringing more people to anime, because people see all the flashy colors and think, oh, well, let me watch Demon Slayer, and then they get into anime through that. So, I respect Demon Slayer for what it is. But if you're going into Demon Slayer with high expectations, my personal advice would be to lower your expectations when going to watch Demon Slayer, especially if you're like a One Piece fan or Full Metal Alchemist fan, and just expect less than that, because it's just another anime when it comes down to it. And if you don't care at all about animation and you only care about story, then I think that you would probably have a minor heart attack watching Demon Slayer. I'm going to be honest. But if you like the flashy colors, the animation, or you're just haven't watched much anime to begin with, so the tropiness of it all doesn't bother you, then yeah, sure, watch it. That's all. Bye.